So hit me with your best shot. Hit me with your best shot. I have no talent at all for singing. I'm a frustrated singer. And since I suck at it, I do this. There you go. There's my fallback. I actually did see Pat Benatar at the Allentown Fairgrounds back in 1980. Oh, let me see. It was like 1982, I think. And she collapsed on stage. Anybody under 30 is going, who's Pat Benatar anyway? Who are the Beatles, right? Oh, boy. It never gets old, but it does get old. You know, back in the 60s, and I was born in 57, it was, turn off that rock and roll music. It's interesting if you talk to anyone in their 90s and even their early hundreds, which there, believe it or not, are people alive at that age. And I'll ask the question, what ruined music? And I spoke to someone that was about 100 years old, and they said, it was the crooners. The crooners? Yeah, Sinatra and Crosby. Because it was the big band era, and then Sinatra and Crosby came along, and that ruined music. And then for, the people that love Sinatra, it was the Beatles and then the Rolling Stones. And nowadays we hear, the 80s are the best. And although the 90s and the 2000s, and really all music is really good. All music is real, except for the music the Democrats listen to. Anything the Democrats do, it's not good. But then again, if we were to cut out all the music on the radio of the people that are Democrats, we'd be playing no music, because that's about their only talent is to play music. Certainly not to run countries or cities. I can tell you that. Best Shot is about you. It's a new show. Only 0.1% of the people ever listening ever call radio, and less than that, talk radio. And I know it can be intimidating to call a talk radio station to express your viewpoint. And I can't promise you that I won't, hang up on you, but chances are I'm not going to call you names. I mean, I may, but chances are I'm probably not going to. And you can give your viewpoint out at 423-800-8949. 800-8949, area code 423. You can listen to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We are a platform that delivers some great content on hotnewstalkradio.com, noogaradio.com, right here on Facebook. All you have to do is look to your left over there, and you see where it says radio, blah, blah, blah. Click right there, and you can listen to us live. You can also watch us live on YouTube. And our YouTube video feed is more like we're sneaking a peek in the studio. It's not really television to the extent of it's highly produced, because it's not. And we really don't want it that way. There's too much overproduced TV. This is just a matter of looking in the studio and watching the air talent pick their nose and, scratch their butt and do whatever they do. And a chance to, if you don't really have another device except a television, and some people don't, you can actually watch us on your smart TV on YouTube by typing in Hot News Talk Radio. And for our Chinese listeners, because our second biggest listenership on the internet, or as the kids call it, the net, is China. So I want to thank our Chinese listeners they're just sucking this up, because if we were to be doing this in the communist police state of China, we would be arrested in 2 seconds. They'd be knocking on the door. You'd see me being dragged out. And I'd end up in their version of the gulag, never to be heard again. But fortunately, the occupiers of our constitutional republic in Washington, D.C. don't do that to everyone yet. I think because, too, the military actually does obey their oath of office. And if they were to do that, maybe some smart general would arrest them. And I've been praying for that for years. I mean, I think a good day in my life would be to wake up and go, let me turn on Hot News Talk Radio, see what's going on. Let me listen to Russell. And in the news today, the United States Air Force has arrested all of Congress for sedition, treason, and is trying Democrats right now, summarily. Whoa! Finally, some justice. Finally, some justice. So now you know where you can hear us and where you can see us. And Best Shot is about you giving us your best shot about our tweets over the past week and our posts on Facebook. And as I said, under Mike Steele, I do the posts on Facebook along with David Tulis. And we have, Russell Stroud, our news director, that does it. We have Keon, our sports director, and some of the other fine folks here at AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. The tweets I started in is basically my domain because they're pretty heavy. And most people here don't want to get that heavy.
It's like, well, can't we just talk? Can't we convince them nicely to change their mind?
No, we can't. You ever hear the story of the greatest horse trainer in the world? He goes down to the field and sees the farmer with the horse, and the horse is just not listening. And he says, "Can you get me a 2x4? The farmer says, "Why need a 2x4? Go get me a 2x4. He gives the horse trainer the 2x4, and all of a sudden, wham! Hits the horse upside the head. And he goes, "Whoa, now why'd you do that?" Before you educate them, you got to get their attention. So let's get your attention on how our constitutional republic is being destroyed. And if you're watching this on Facebook, I want you to switch over to YouTube, News Talk Radio, AM 1240, or listen on hotnewstalkradio.com, noogaradio.com. Just Google us and you'll listen to us somewhere. Okay? So we will see you if you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or listen. We can be friends on the radio too. If you'd like to follow along, like following the bouncing ball, we'd absolutely love you to do that. And to follow the bouncing ball, you have to go to Facebook and Hot News Talk Radio. And you'll see one of my posts from today. And I'm looking here too, if you want to listen to us, it says Radio Plugin. It's normally on the left side of your screen under Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240. You'll say Home About Photos Radio Plugin. We stream there 24/7. Also at the top right of your screen under Apps. And there's a picture of George Soros, the devil himself, that says, "I am God. I created everything. I control America," and blah, 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 Hillary and the left. And we all know that. So my post is, somebody please put a pillow over this blank hole's head. And if you think that's a little heavy and that should have not been my response, you can call me and chastise me. This is Best Shot. Hit us with your best shot. 800-8949, area 423. One of the other posts, and this show is about our posts and your response to our posts. And we get a lot of response over the net. Obama judges have liberal imprint on U.S. And this story is about, because normally with our headline, we'll repost the story. So with David Tulis, many of our stories are unique. There is no more fluoride in the water in Saudi Daisy, and I attribute David Tulis for that, for great investigative reporting here from Hot News Talk Radio. That's a great article if you want to read that. Also, we have Erlanger's sending some medical supplies to flood victims in Louisiana. You know, Louisiana, one of the states of the Union, even though they're not a common law state, one of the only states of the Union that is not a common law state, they still need to be respected as our state brothers. And Barack Obama visited when? After he was done his golf game? He was too busy playing with his balls on the golf course that he couldn't visit. Hillary still never visited. And I love when it's and I'm not a Republican, because Republicans are way too liberal for me. No, to me, Republicans wear pink panties. You know, Democrats wear pink, purple, and blue panties. Yeah, the rainbow color panties. Republicans wear pink panties. They used to be real men. Now they're a bunch of wussies. But in that, at least they don't have in their platform it's okay to murder unborn children like the pathetic Democrats do. But interesting, you can see how the Marxist news media loves the left, because they know their jobs depend on it. Do you realize that the left, which is John McCain and Hillary and the rest of that boys and girls club in Washington, D.C., send millions of dollars to Hollywood to fund the left agenda? A lot of these reporters, a lot of these radio and TV stations wouldn't exist without them. So they have to keep them propped up. Hillary can murder 100 people today. Doesn't matter. As long as the left gets to keep their left-wing Marxist agenda. And we know the Republicans are not going to change it. They had the opportunity in the early 90s when they controlled the House, Senate, and the presidency to abolish just a couple of basic things that should be gone, like public television and public radio, both unconstitutional. The government in our constitutional republic has no authority to propagate the American people through the use of television or radio. As a matter of fact, the Voice of America legally must broadcast to foreigners. It's not allowed to broadcast to Americans. And that was decided during the era of Hitler in World War II. That's another reason your Social Security cards, the original one, said for Social Security purposes only, because we were fighting against the national ID because that's what Hitler did. So we've adopted all the Hitler tactics. But what's amazing with the Marxist Northeast establishment socialist media is that when Bush didn't show up with Katrina, just did a flyover, he hated blacks and didn't care about the people. When Obama doesn't do it, we don't want him interfering with us. I hate liars. I do. I really, you're not supposed to hate, but I do. I hate liars. And I pray. Can we pray together now? Oh, God, please. Please send a Democrat into my studio to debate me. Please. They won't do it. They're cowards. You know, even my coward competitors that support and promote the liberal socialist Democrat agenda in this market don't want to debate. Please, please, please send one into my studio so I can debate them. So I can show the world they wear rainbow panties and their panty waists. Please do that. Thank you, God. Okay. We'll see if that works. George Bush, they beat up on, and I don't like George Bush. He's a New World Order guy. But he's a Republican. And Obama, they make excuses for Obama. The KKK was started by the Democrats. Byrd, Senator Byrd, one of the biggest members, Hillary's close friend, KKK guy. And Hillary's saying, oh, the KKK supports Trump. You know why they do this? Because they create an organization that are alleged racists, whatever it may be. And they support it and defend it. And then they have that organization support the client that they're against, or the candidate they're against. And they go, see, these racists support them when they're the ones that are funding them and are a part of them. Now, if you go to Facebook, I just posted this, and my headline is Democrats, the party of pure evil, promoting racism, dependency, and the murdering of unborn babies. I don't say anything that's not the truth. That's what's interesting. My whole life, from the time I was a little kid, your mouth's going to get you into trouble. Why? I'm telling the truth. How do I look? You look like crap. Cut your hair. How's my dress? It sucks. You look like a clown. What? What's wrong with telling the truth? I'm a Democrat, and I think everyone deserves a fair shake. You're a liar. You're a piece of garbage. You're a liar. You don't think unborn babies deserve a fair shake? My body. No, it's not. It's their body, you jackass. You got a body inside you. You're just a carrier. That's all you are. You're an egg donor. You're a carrier. Second, you decided to spread your legs. You became a carrier. Sorry. Can't kill that thing inside you because it ain't yours. It's not your kid. Everybody, it's my kid. No, it's not. They're their own person. You don't own them. You don't own your child. They're their own person. Yeah. You have an obligation to nurture them and educate them. You don't have a right to take away their rights that were granted by God. And they're not yours. They're God's. Just like when you give them a social security number at birth, why don't you just shoot them? Hey, why are you marking them? Oh, don't you have to give your kid a social security number at birth? No! What country do you live in? Are you serious? I don't know how many people have told me that. Oh, really? You don't have to give your kid a social security number at birth? No! How could you celebrate the 4th of July? Eating hot dogs and hamburgers and partying and sucking your beer down
and not know the basic foundations of our republic. You're not required to do a damn thing in this country unless you choose to do it. That's what freedom and liberty is about. You're born free. Remember the song? Born free. It ain't born free anymore now. Born a slave. I'll give my kid a social security number so I can take the tax benefit from the federal government. Born a slave in America. I mean, see, come on. I mean, really? Oh, I didn't know you didn't have to get a number. Seriously? It's almost like voluntarily going through a checkpoint or thinking you have to. Oh, can you tell me, hi, how are you today? Well, I'm not doing too well. It's 10:30 in the morning. I'm already 30 minutes late for my appointment. There's a line of cars here. What can I do for you? Well, we're conducting a document checkpoint. And I'm not kidding. They do this in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and Tennessee. No longer DUI check. Now they're like Nazi Germany. We're conducting a document checkpoint. Do you got your documents? If you're free, ain't nobody asking you if you got documents. But you're not free and you don't know it. And that's why I have to post 7,000 times in 3 years. Because the dumber you are, the less free I am. You get that? I don't want dumb people sitting on my jury when I'm charged with something because I pissed off some sort of government official. So I'm doing this to make sure if you sit on my jury, you're smart and say the guy's outrageous and loud, but he's not guilty. So you haven't answered me yet, sir. Having a good day? No, I told you. I'm not. I'm 30 minutes late. I'm in this long line. What can I do for you? Well, this is the document checkpoint. You know, you have a driver's license, which is implied consent. Can I see your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance? No, you can't. What do you mean, no, you can't? And this actually happened to me in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. State police said, no. Go get your superior. You can't. What's your probable cause for stopping me? I did a short Italian. That's a couple of pounds overweight. Okay, more than a couple. Rob a bank? Do I fit some description? Is my car fit a description of somebody that's just committed the crime? Well, no. Well, then I'm not giving you the information. Sir, now why are you doing this? You're the only one. I've been doing this for 2 years. You're the only one that's complained. Well, all that is necessary for evil to prevail is that good people do nothing. So the answer is no. You asked me a question. No. Just like my next time I'm in court fighting one of these fascists for some stupid regulation they've imposed, when the judge says, do you agree to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm going to say no, just to see what happens. Well, what do you mean no? Well, you ask me a question. The question requires a yes or no, doesn't it? No, I'm going to lie. You look great today, Your Honor. That was a lie because you look like crap. Love your hair. Oh, that was another lie. You looks like you got a tube on. You want me to continue? So instead of saying, do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, why don't you just say, I'm putting you under penalties of perjury. Now, if we did that to the system, and as I always tell people, if you argue the facts in court, you're going to lie because the cops are going to lie. The judge is going to lie. The system's they're going to make stuff up. Except if you're Hillary Clinton or a Democrat and you will your way on anything. You know, even being complicit in 5 Americans being slaughtered in Benghazi. But nonetheless, if it's you or me, they're going to make something up. So you better be able to argue the law of due process or you're going to lose because they're going to lie. No, we created a disturbance. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but truth, help you God? No, I don't. I'm going to lie. See what happens to you. Contempt of court. Why? You ask me a question. Can I see your driver's? No, you can't. No. Where are you going? Somewhere. I'm out here. Maybe somewhere over the rainbow. Where are you going? Do you have anything to drink? Well, I had some water. Normally I wouldn't answer you, but yeah, I had some water.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Have you consumed any alcohol? Well, like when? Like last year, last month? I mean, when? Today? I don't know. I'm not answering that question. I'm not answering that question. How about that? Matter of fact, I have a right not to speak, but I can't control myself. So I'm going to speak. Get your supervisor, please. Now, either let me go or arrest me, okay? Do me a favor. Arrest me now so I can sue every one of your asses for stopping me without probable cause, violating my due process, which is guaranteed under the 4th and 14th Amendments, or let me go. Oddly enough, they let me go. Well, that wasn't good enough for me. I'll tell you what happened after this. At AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, this is Best Shot.
News Talk 1240 AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, with your chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in food every week with the Hot News Talk Radio 1, 2, 3 NASCAR contest. Hot News Talk 1240. All you have to do is guess who's going to be first, second, and third place in the upcoming NASCAR Sprint Cup race. If you guess it, you'll hear your name live Monday morning at 11:30. Then call AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio to win. Enter your guess right now at Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Wimpy's Restaurant in Soddy Daisy across from City Hall. Diesel Off-Road Technology Soddy Daisy. For your four-wheel drive and truck needs, stuff and upholstery with premium rubber foam. Cell Surgeon, the Broken Screen Dock. And Shooter's Supply, 4824 Hickson Pike in Hickson. Hot News Talk 1240. Enter your guesses now and listen to the race live to win $124 in cash and $124 in food from Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station. Hot News Talk 1240. I love NASCAR. All systems go.
Got a printing project on deadline? Advantage Printing in Brainerd offers the highest quality one-stop service in Chattanooga. Graphic design, printing, addressing. Don't create a mailer unless you first check with Alan about the latest postal hassle. He'll handle the whole thing for you. Advantage Printing. Your advantage is in our name. 4031 Brainerd Road next to the Bilo. Print digital or offset, wide format, engineering drawings, start to finish. Advantage Printing. Check the details with Alan. 629-1800. That's 629-1800.
All systems go. Treat yourself and your vehicle to a sparkling shine inside and out at Country Boys and Toys. 9606 Dayton Pike, Soddy Daisy. Remember how it felt the first day you brought your new ride home, clean as a whistle, with that new car smell? Well, you can enjoy it again and again, over and over now, with auto detailing from Country Boys and Toys in Soddy Daisy. Call 309-0426. That's 309-0426.
We're at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Yes, sir. 2 orders of nachos with beef and beans, 2 beers. Chattanooga loves its Amigos restaurants, but the Amigos in Hickson has something extra. NASCAR, every race. How about a house wine? Really good. Big name beers, just tell Maria what you want. And here at Amigos, margaritas are popular, and it's only $3 all day. If you come here on a race day, Sunday, a Natty Light is only $2.25. Here at Amigos, just during NASCAR, Natty Light, $2.25. Amigos Mexican Restaurant in Hickson. The happy hour is 3 to 9 today and every day. I'd say the atmosphere is festive. Look at that huge TV. It's like being amid the fans, under a bright sun, but no gasoline fumes, no heat. Stay cool. Quench your thirst. Amigos between Staples and Hobby Lobby. Take the next table to mine. Enjoy the NASCAR race with friend or family here at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Okay, it's started.
Drivers, start your engines.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis has the cash and diamonds. 1 point to 10 carat. Buy, sell, and trade. Clusters, solitaires, 3 stones. An all-new holiday special. 70% off. You'll save thousands. Free layaway, free sizing, free insurance. Rick Davis has the cash and diamonds. Don't wait. Layaway today and save. It's perfect for holidays or weddings. 70% off the perfect designer diamond. Cash, 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 and more cash. And now clusters, solitaires, and 3 stones. Rick Davis has the cash and diamonds. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. 5301 Brainerd Road. You know where it is.
Rubber's tough, but foam rubber is soft. Foam rubber is the star at Stuff It Upholstery, which uses it to revive your couch, your embarrassing easy chair, your boat seat cushions. Stuff It foam rubber in Hickson covers Chattanooga and surrounding areas. Don't throw out that favorite easy chair that's grown haggard and barbaric. New life for your seat cushions. Premium auto-grade rubber foam for your restaurant, church, or business. Stuff It Upholstery brings comfort and relief. Go ahead, skid away from flat, dull, and droopy cushions. Relax, restore, revive. When comfort matters, Stuff It. 4608 Hickson Pike, 877-1616. Ask for Larry. That's 877-1616.
Wholesale liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell, featuring over 6,000 square feet of unique and everyday wholesale items, discounted to, get this, 50 to 75% off of retail, from new and pre-owned tools to chainsaws and auto accessories. Wholesale liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got third. He's going for second. Earnhardt going for the lead.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is on the Motor Racing Network.
Fox News Talk 1240.
Hear it live on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Check it out live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station. Fox News Talk 1240.
What I love about Best Shot is it puts you in control. You have a chance to speak your mind on anything you want to talk about. Plus, you can give me your opinion on our past tweets, our Facebook posts at 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949. We'll get you right in the studio. Of course, you can make your comments on Facebook, on Twitter. Lots of ways to find us at AM 1240, hotnewstalkradio.com, noogaradio.com, Twitter, Facebook, search AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We are streaming live 24/7 over Facebook. And one of the easiest ways to get to all of our sites is go to hotnewstalkradio.com. It's a simple splash page, nothing real fancy. I'm not a fancy guy, and I'm a basic guy. I don't like things flashing at me. So if the page will open up and you'll hear the radio station streaming live. And then you can click on that to go to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and my favorite, Nooganomics.com, with our host, David Tulis, and the David Tulis Show, to be back soon with great local content here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. I'm Confederate Mike Steele. This is Best Shot, normally hosted by our news director, Russell Stroud, here 11 to 12 on vacation. Russell will be back Monday morning. You want to check out Chattanooga and America's Morning News. Great combination of national, regional, and local news here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. That's followed by Gallagher. You didn't hear Gallagher? Come on. There's hardly anyone better than Gallagher. Gallagher goes on till normally around 11 o'clock, and then we have our specialty shows from 11 to 12. Shows like The Home Show with Ben and Sabrina. We also on Thursdays have Heartbeat of Chattanooga. Jill's the host of that. And then Binary with Russell, and this show on Fridays called Best Shot. And then noon, everyone's favorite is Colin Cowherd, noon to 3. And of course, the number one talk show host in the world is Sean Hannity, and you can hear him exclusively here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio between 3 and 6. That's followed up with great sports talk with our local guy, Keon Rose, at 7 o'clock. If you haven't heard this show yet, please tune into this. These are the Sons of Liberty. You want to talk about a fiery group? At 7 to 8 o'clock here at Hot News Talk Radio. Then 8 to 10, it's Free Talk Live. Great libertarian talk. 8 to 10 here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. 10 to 1 in the morning is Ground Zero. Clyde Lewis. Man, did he have a good show last night on aliens and intercepts. And then 1 to 6, of course, everyone's favorite is Coast to Coast AM here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. I'm going to finish my story soon on being pulled over at a checkpoint in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. When they demanded my information, I said no, and they eventually let me go without a citation. But I didn't let it rest there because I hardly let anything just rest. And that's why I give everybody else ulcers and not me, because if it's on my chest, trust me, it's getting off my chest fast. 800-8949. Hi, you're on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
Yes, Mike, I appreciate finally being back on the air. I'm missing Russell, but I'm glad you're doing such a great job filling in. This is David Tulis, and do you think I might have a minute with our listener?
Absolutely.
Well, we do thank you for joining us here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. David Tulis. I've just come from the Hamilton County Court, and in one of the courtrooms this morning in Judge Don Poole's court, there was an important dismissal of a criminal case against a man some of our listeners know and our readers at Nooganomics.com have become very familiar with, and that is Hanson Melvin. Hanson Melvin was accused of public disturbance, civil disorder, in an arrest in May that he alleges, and we've confirmed, was premised on a perjured police report. And so this is a case that was tainted and corrupted. And stepping into the breach this morning was the district attorney, Neil Pinkston, whom Hanson and I met yesterday morning. We realized that this case couldn't go forward as it was formed on the public disturbance charge because of the underlying faults. We explained this to Neil Pinkston, who represents the state's interest in this. He intervened personally to have the case dismissed with prejudice. Mike, you might want to tell our listeners what with prejudice means. What does that imply in the sake of Hanson Melvin, the defendant?
Well, I've always known it to mean that the state didn't admit any wrongdoing.
And
no, it's beyond that.
And that
if they want to, right, it cannot be brought back. But it's mainly the state saying that we haven't done any wrongdoing, and we're not going to move forward with anything further.
Right, we've done nothing wrong. We're letting go of our claims against this defendant, and it's dismissed. And so Judge Poole dismissed the case. The whole matter of Hanson Melvin appearing before the judge it took a matter of 15 or 20 seconds, and he was dismissed. And again, it was Mr. Pinkston, the district attorney, who stepped in. And the reason it's important to point that out is that Neil Pinkston, the attorney representing the state, and his staff of lawyers, all prosecutors, right? They all prosecute violations of statute and common law. They don't see but 2 for every 100 cases that are brought before the court. And that would be by indictment. So indictments are brought. His name is on the indictment, and so he, once we pointed out the underlying problems in the case, he intervenes. Said, "Okay, this is a case we don't want to have anything to do with." And so Hanson Melvin this morning, a Christian family man, he goes to First Baptist Church Hickson. Has 3 children. He's married. He is a man unencumbered by this one boggling attack on him and his person. We are suggesting a police officer, David Campbell. David Campbell, his name has been repeated several times in Nooganomics.com. And if you want to find out more about this fascinating case of a man who's a belligerent claimant in person, read Nooganomics.com. And Mike, I think I'm going to get off the phone here and let you talk some more, but I think it's worth telling the listener what belligerent claimant in person means and why the listener has within his own power, or her own power, to be such a person as that. It sounds terrible in a way. It sounds very, very tough to do and be, but really it's not. Why is it not? I'll listen to your answer on why.
Well, before you go, David, first of all, my hat's off to David Tulis. You know, David was, well, I guess he had to run. But David also, with his show here, 9 to 11, which will return. You know, he's busy covering stories and so on and so forth. But my hat's off to David Tulis, who I believe was at the forefront of getting fluoride out of the water in Saudi Daisy, that poison, and taking on this case where an individual went to David and said, listen, I'm being falsely accused. I'm being falsely prosecuted. And David Tulis took up the gauntlet and actually was going to be his next friend counsel in court. You don't have to be an attorney to be someone's next friend counsel in a criminal proceeding. That's guaranteed under the 6th Amendment. And the system doesn't want you to know that. The system wants you to get an attorney. Let me tell you, the first thing most people do when they're in trouble is get an attorney. Your attorney is owned and controlled by the state. They are officers of the court. Attorneys, most of them, can accomplish 2 things.
to plea bargain and lose because their masters are the state. They are licensed by the state. They are officers of the court. So you wonder why, even if you didn't do anything wrong, and you say to your attorney or your public defender, I'd like to bring this forward to a jury, and he'll turn to you and say, well, if you do that and lose, the judge is really going to be harsh on you because you're taking up a lot of their time and money. Now, they charge you with 4 counts. Can you just drop it down to 1 and plead to a misdemeanor, and you'll get time served and pay a little fine? And almost everyone does because they don't understand the system. They give in. The founders didn't envision that. Even the Supreme Court said rights are only granted to belligerent claimants in person. Do you hear how powerful those words are? Rights are only granted to belligerent claimants in person. So don't go running around saying, I have rights. Anytime I hear anybody do that, I go, you don't have any rights. Well, yes, I do. There was a politician in here the other day who says, well, you're guaranteed your right to bear arms because of the Second Amendment. No, you're not. The Second Amendment is a recognition of 165 common law rights. 10 are enumerated. The 10 Bill of Rights. But the Second Amendment doesn't give you a right to bear arms. You have that right naturally. The Second Amendment is a recognition that the founders demanded the federal government recognize, and not allowing Congress to impose their will upon the states. And now through the 14th Amendment, any individual elected and or hired to oversee and perpetuate the growth of the fascist, Marxist, socialist, communist welfare state. But you don't have rights. You've got to claim them. If you think words on a piece of paper grant you rights, then dogs and cats have rights. Fleas have rights. Words can't grant you rights. Only you can by claiming them. Can I search your trunk? No. May I search your trunk? No. I'm going to search your trunk. No, you're not. And as they go to search your trunk, you put enough pressure on that trunk until they physically move you and search it. Now you've stated a claim upon which relief can be granted. Can I come in your house? May I come in your house? No, you're not. Yes, I am. We got a bunch of guys here. We got batons. I'm coming in. No, you're not. Yes, we are. And you hold your door closed and boom, they knock it in and you're on the floor. You just demanded your rights. There was some sort of action by you. You were warlike. Belligerent is warlike. The court wants to see that you're warlike. The right to speak. Does that come from words on a piece of paper? No. By doing what I do, speak. You don't like it? Shut me up. Now, there are ways that they've done that in the past by stealing my transmitter, by, other tactics I'm not going to talk about, because if I do that, see, the system is predicated on fear. They want you to be afraid. So I'm going to talk about things that make you afraid because you've got so much power, you don't even know the power you have. Look what happened to Marvin. This guy doesn't have any means. I think I don't know that he drives. He walks from point A to point B. And we didn't just take up the gauntlet for him. We checked out the facts. David talked to the witnesses. And the witnesses confirmed his story. So because of David Tulis and evidently an honest attorney general or representatives, let me say that, not just one person, and judge in the city of Chattanooga, they said, we're not going to go forward with this. There was a mistake. There was an error. People make mistakes. Most police officers are good. Maybe this guy, listen, I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm not going to indict the police officer. Maybe he was having a bad day. I don't know. I don't know the circumstance. All I know that the witnesses said that he didn't do what he was charged with doing. That happens all the time. If you take an organization of 1,000 people, 10% of anything is going to be bad. You take 1,000 apples, 100 apples are going to be bad. So let's take 1,000 police officers. Would you say 100 out of 1,000 are bad? I wouldn't say that. But let's say 1% of 1,000. That's 10. Whew, even 1% is a lot. Let's say 1/10 of 1%, which is 1. So if you have 1,000 police officers and 1/10 of 1% are bad, the one cop can make the entire force look bad. And that's why it's so important when you see your fellow officer breaking the law or violating individual constitutional rights. And that should be the first and foremost thing that you're on the job to do, is to protect the individual. Not the thug, not the criminal, not the baby murderers, not the bad guys, but individuals that are really trying to make it and are trying to do the right thing. You know, even though we're called subjects by the government, all in government, we're subjects, that's what they call us. We're not. We're individual Americans wanting to go to work, pay our bills, watch our kids' baseball games and so on and so forth, and don't need to be treated like a criminal because you think we've done something wrong. Whether you be a police officer, a part of the federal, state, or local government, or even a zoning officer. But if that happens to you, you have to act in a smart manner. You can't, and I always say, first you have to treat people with respect. You need to be a belligerent, claim it in person, and you need to be warlike, but you can always gravitate towards that. But remember, your first encounter with anyone that has the capacity to arrest you will arrest you if you tick them off. So the first thing you try to do is diffuse the situation and claim your rights. If you see they're fishing for the purpose of gaining evidence to throw you in jail, that's when your radar has to go off, and that's when you have to react. David Tulis, in this case, I believe saved this guy from a trial, but he still lost. He lost time at work. If he had to hire a lawyer, he would lose money. He had to pay someone to get to and from the court, transportation. So if you're charged with something, you already lost. And unfortunately, we have become a police state. And I'm not saying that in the sense of police are bad, a police state in the sense that everything you do, the system, the bureaucracy requires their permission and your submission. That's a police state. That's what we fought against in World War II. That's why we fought Nazi Germany, not just because they were killing Jews and Christians, but those concepts and principles. And that's why when the Social Security card was first issued voluntarily, on the back of the card, it said not for identification purposes, for Social Security purposes only, because the founders cringed at national identification. And your grandfathers and grandmothers cringed at national ID. And now we just give everyone our ID. Here it is. And it's not the Social Security card anymore. Your driver's license is your new national ID. So in finishing the story, in traveling through the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, or I like to call it the Commonwealth of PA, there's a checkpoint at 10:30 in the morning. Going back a few years, which I predicted in the 70s when they were pulling people over between Philadelphia and Jersey before they went over the bridge. Not pulling them over, but you'd pay your toll, and somebody would reach their head in and go, here's some information on drinking and driving. We hope you're not going to drink and drive over the weekend. So on and so forth. This is before checkpoints. I'm like, oh boy, they're up to something. They're testing the waters. They're seeing if people are going to tolerate being stopped at toll booths and being condescended to by an official and handed a piece of paper. And people sucked it up. They loved it. And then we went to checkpoints. And I said, oh boy. And I interviewed some of these officials in the early days. I said, eventually you're going to go to document checkpoints. You're going to want to check to see driver's license, registration, insurance, so on and so on. Oh no, this is just for DUI purposes. And then a few years later, now they have document checkpoints. Do you know, during this checkpoint, we captured 2 felons. Well, do your job and you'd capture them anyway. So long story short, what ends up happening is they let me go because they wanted to see my driver's license, registration, insurance. They wanted to sniff my underwear. I wasn't in the mood to have my underwear sniffed. And they were delaying me, even though I was late for a meeting, as I sometimes am. And when I got to my place of business, I called the barracks. That's what they call the state police centers there or forts. And I said, can you please send me a citation? I want to fight this in court. And she's like, what? I said, well, I was just pulled over and I failed to produce documentation. And as far as the statute is concerned, I believe it's Title 26 in Pennsylvania. If a peace officer or police officer demands identification, you must show it. And I do have a driver's license. It's implied consent. Can you please have the officer cite me for not producing a driver's license? No. We're not doing that. See, they wouldn't do that because they knew I would get into court and argue there was no probable cause or due process in stopping my freedom of movement and asking me questions. And that's why the courts ruled that there has to be a way out. But many checkpoints, they don't post that there's a checkpoint and they don't give you a way out. You go through it, you believe, which is voluntary, which it isn't. They're compelling you to do it because there is no way out. And if you were to turn around, they would follow you anyway. So the question is freedom and slavery. Do you want to live in a police state? And as I said a half hour ago, I didn't know I had to get a social security number for my kid when they were born. Use your common sense. Come on. What the hell? Do you live in Russia or China? Can somebody come up to you and tell you you have to get a number? Really? Well, I can't get a tax benefit. Then eat the $1,500. Don't enslave your kid at birth. To Baltimore. Are you crazy? This is not a Republican, Democrat, liberal, or conservative issue. It's a common sense issue. God, it just frustrates me. The stupidity in America. There's no excuse for it. Everybody knows football statistics. Oh, yeah, Joe Johnson threw an 85-yard touchdown last week, and he blah, 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 blah. And in the NBA, everybody knows these statistics, but hell, no one can work a smartphone. Let me see. How do I get Hot News Talk Radio? You mean to tell me you don't have to get a Social Security number? Go to our website. Listen to us. We will educate you on this stuff. You think our competitors will? That loser talk radio station that compete? No, they're not going to educate you in this stuff. They're going to say, Donald Trump is a billionaire and he ain't going to work for the people. Or they're going to say, Hillary got some emails. They're not going to educate you. We are. That's why we're here. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. Because I could be out golfing instead of wasting my time talking to you who doesn't want to listen to me. But I hate golfing, so I wouldn't do that. So listen to what I'm telling you, because I'm really smart. You know that? I'm the smartest guy on the radio in this market. There's no one smarter than me. I can offer that fact because my phone would be ringing right now with some really smart lawyer going, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Or the competitor. Now, if you want to get smarter, this is the station you listen to. The only person that's maybe smarter than me is David Tulis. And sometimes I wonder. But I would say, when I hear him on the air, I go, he is smarter than me. I do. When I hear his show, I go, all right, there's probably one guy in the market that's smarter than me. That's David Tulis. That's because he's got a degree. He's got like a doctorate. He's got like 27 doctorates. Hey, you lurch. Look how big you are. David's with me here. Is your mic on? Hey, your mic's on. Say something.
Well, we do thank you for joining us. If you can bear Confederate Mike another.
Wait a second. How many doctorates do you have?
I don't have a doctorate. I have just a master's degree in English. But listen,
you're full of it.
We're wasting our listeners' time, especially talking about me.
They're wasting my time.
He's just teasing. I hope you know that. I hope you, the listener, know that Mike is just playing with you. But we have good news. In case you're just joining us, the good news is that Hanson Melvin's case has been dismissed. Hanson Melvin is the innocent Christian father of three who, living very near our station at Northgate Crossing apartment complex, was falsely accused of causing a public disturbance. And today, Neil Pinkston, whose name was on the indictment, a tainted indictment, whose name was on the indictment, intervened and said this and asked the judge to dismiss this case summarily, with no further ado, with prejudice, which means that it can't be brought up again. And so Hanson Melvin is very grateful this morning. If you go to our Facebook page at Hot News Talk Radio, you can see his interview with me. It's 2 minutes long, meet Hanson Melvin and hear the issues are done. It was done outside the court, and he explains just briefly what his case is about and why it matters to you, why you should care about this case. And he was, his case was dismissed. The problem with the case is this: that there was no probable cause for him being assailed and stopped and questioned and arrested. Here he was on May 29, walking along the parking lot of his apartment complex, and the officer recognized him as having a man who has had in the past problems with his driver's license. And so he approached him and sort of roughed him up and said, show me your ID, show me your driver's license. And Hanson, a smart man, was a belligerent claimant in person. He said, well, no, what does that have to do with anything? There's no probable cause to ask me that. I'm walking.
Well, not only that, you never have to produce your driver's license unless you're actually driving for a reason to pull you over.
Right. Probable cause.
You're not required to produce anything for anybody.
I think you're walking down the street. I've kind of lost sight of, and the listener should check up my reporting at Nooganomics.com about this amazing local case. And the fault of the reporting is I've underemphasized the primary necessity of having probable cause for the officer to approach this man.
Let me say, Dave, probable cause is everything in our republic. The only thing that separates our constitutional republic from every other government is probable cause. And that is somebody in an official capacity has to show where they believe you are committing or have committed a crime, and then present that to an impartial jurist. And then with the warrant and an oath and affirmation, that is executed. But without probable cause, we have a total breakdown and lawlessness in our republic. And that starts with the police officer. It's so important that thin blue line is honest. They understand rights. They obey the rule of law and the Constitution. Without that, we end up with tyranny. So thank you, David, for taking on this case, because once again, I think David Tulis has come through, and that's part of why we do what we do here. Is we were really doing this for you because we really do care about you,
despite the abuses you might take at Mike's announcements left and right.
Listen, sometimes you got to get a spanking. Sometimes you look back and go, you know what? I didn't like my mom and dad when they spanked me.
The father loveth, he chasteneth. Right?
I got to spank you sometimes. I really listen.
The case, the Hanson Melvin case. The other point is there was no probable cause. That's the main point I think I've neglected in my reporting to the reader at Nooganomics.com. The other problems with the accusation is that there's very clearly perjury on the part of the officer. So there's an internal affairs investigation led by Lieutenant Pedro Bacon and Officer Jeff Gaines, who interviewed Hanson, as I sat in on that too. And these two men are looking to see if not just the rules have been broken, but actually a crime has been committed. And that's our assertion. A crime has been committed against an innocent man by a state actor.
The genie's out of the bottle. There have been officials, look at Hillary, for many, many years that lie under oath. I've seen it time and time again. You're no longer going to get away from this. Get away with this. I have to tell you this. There are smartphones now. There are radio stations reporting it. This is not 1964. If you, as an official, lie in your capacity, you will be found out. You will be found out by hackers. You'll be found out by a smartphone that you don't know is recording. The jig is up, David. The jig is up for them.
Well, the decentralization of the media, the digitization of media, which makes our listener a supplier of news to this station, is very good for liberty as a whole. We just have to breathe deep, and we thank you. You report, and the world decides.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. This is Best Shot. That's David Tulis. Go to Nooganomics.com. Hot News Talk Radio.
Give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
Yesterday.